My family grew up camping in Moraine Park for a weekend every summer, and there's honestly too many to name. Like, all of my childhood friends and I basically grew up there, and I have a lot of memories of hiking to Bear Lake and just sitting around the fire and like meeting other kids in the campground.
And I remember seeing these massive elk standing right there on the road. It was really cool because as a kid I'd never really seen anything like that close or been that immersed in the nature. But I just remember looking at this big elk 4 feet from our car, just towering over us eating, and that was a pretty magical experience as like a young kid.
Whenever I'm in the Rocky Mountain National Park, I feel entirely at home and at peace. It's so close to where I grew up, and the nature is just so beautiful that I just feel incredibly at peace.
Rocky Mountain National Park makes me feel like I'm inside my own body. Like, it helps me feel alive and grounded in what feels like a very chaotic world. And it always feels like I find myself or feel more content with who I am in my life after spending time there.
I think that a lot of time just running around with school, living in the city and stuff, you kind of forget that you're an animal as well, sort of a part of this nature. And one of my favorite things about being so close to all this nature is that, I can take a 45 minutes to an hour drive and just be out in the wilderness. And for me, it's always been grounding. Especially if you're somebody who comes from a city, I really hope that it gives you an appreciation for nature and the environment and sort of the realization that the way that we live our lives, even when we're separated from nature, impacts all the nature around us. And there's a lot of people who talk about conservationism, and I think that one of the biggest tools for getting people more interested in conservation is actually experiencing nature and understanding what it is that you're trying to protect and safeguard.
National parks, just like this one, kind of just brings you back to how humans should instinctually feel when they're just out in nature and don't have all these societal worries that we've created to worry about.
It's even more important to protect places like Rocky Mountain National Park because it's like a memento of where we came from, and we used to be an inclusive part of that ecosystem rather than something above it. And so keeping that connection in mind will help us maintain our humanity in the future.
And besides all the, questions about natural resources, positive climate, I think we lose a really big part of ourselves and a really big part of our educations about, where we came from and what makes this planet run.